Okay. Okay, are you guys ready? Radio, welcome to this HowToEGD lesson. We are on page 8-9 in the HSE workbook, and ladies and gentlemen, we are stepping it up when it's pertaining to cams and cam followers and drawing a displacement diagram as well as a full cam with all its detail and correct notes and labels. So let's look at this question on page 8-9. They've given to us here, as you've seen already, a diagram with a follower and the cam shaft. Now if you look, it says that it is given to us in a maximum position there. If you look at the maximum radius is 56. That's from the center to the end of the follower. The minimum distance from the camshaft center to the cam profile is 16. And then they say this diameter here is 16 as well. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is redraw what is given, and they've given us that center point. Before I do that, because I know that's something that you all can do, I want you to look at the motion here, and I'm going to read it out loud for those who can't read, or read this because it's too small. All right, so my tip to you is always start somewhere on an open piece of paper here with a little line, just as a starting point. Now it says from 0 to 120 degrees, the cam follower falls to a minimum. All right, so there's a fall. And then the cam follower dwells, and then it returns to the starting position. Okay, they did not put to this. Normally they would say the cam follower falls, and they put a measurement there. This time they've just set to a minimum. The rise is again to the original starting position, but that is the basic motion. Now we have to use the specifications to determine this distance, and it's going to be helpful for us to draw it to help us get that done. But you can also, of course, already calculate it, because that's 56. The minimum distance here is 16. Do you remember? Okay, so we're going to have a fall of 40 and a rise of 40. Okay, and so we could go and put that here as a 40 and another 40 there. Okay, and then we have our part that there's just a dwell, a rest, no movement. So let's start off here by redrawing what is given. And to help me out, I'm going to start with my center lines, just normal center lines that we know is going to be a requirement. Okay, this is all in construction. That inner diameter is 16. If you have a stencil like this, very easy to use that. And I like using it because my compass isn't that accurate after almost 20 years of use. So just double check that. And that then is the cam shaft. The moment I do that, you are going to do your hatching there, because it's at 45 degrees. It's a cam shaft. Okay. You actually cut through, and so there's section lines. Then the minimum distance, as they say, is 16 from the center of the cam profile to the actual. So keeping your compass at the center, that's a construction line. Okay, that's our minimum distance all the way around. You can use that same, just lessen it a little bit. And we're going to do the arrow for the direction of rotation. The direction of rotation is anti-clockwise. Okay, so we're just building this drawing as we continue. Now using what's given here, we've got 56 in height. So I'm going to measure from the center 10, 20, 30, 40, 56. Make a mark. And here we're going to have 30 degrees to the one side, 30 or 60 degrees to the other side. The width here is 8. So I'm not wasting time, not stressing, no anxiety, no fear. The height there is 45. I'm going to mark that also. 10, 20, 30, 45. Okay, that's all construction. Here goes. There's the follower. in its maximum position. Okay, so we've drawn what is given to us. Now, to get this cam drawn, we're going to need our displacement diagram, and for that, we're going to need the starting point of this follower. It's starting at the maximum, okay? So we're still going to draw in line with that a construction line to the left-hand side, okay? And then here, we have to now determine our displacement graph. We know that the minimum distance from the center to here is 16, and so that's the other one that we'll draw to the left-hand side. And then we just have to have a starting line here, and now we need to know the size of the displacement diagram, and that you're going to find in the instructions. It says 30 degrees equals 8 millimeter. This is the horizontal scale for this. So how many divisions of 30 do I have in 360? 12. 12 times 8 is 96. So I'm going to 96, make a dot, and it says each one is 8 millimeters. So I can go 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80, 88. All right, and that is then our displacement diagram with our 30-degree divisions. Jy is nie kwaad vir my nie, ek is nie kwaad vir jou nie. Yes. Okay, I'm going to answer you now. Okay, you're asking me how did I get these sizes? Okay, well, they don't give it here, but they give it here. They say the minimum distance from the camshaft center to the cam profile is 16. So from the camshaft center to the profile, that's a 16. Yes or no? Okay, and then they say the camshaft itself has got a diameter of 16. So everything is there. Okay. So up to this point, nobody's behind. That's going to be 0 degrees, 30, and you write it in here. Oops, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330, and we end with 360. Okay, this gets a label, displacement graph. If you look at this, there shouldn't be any uncertainty. What are the things that you have to complete? All of this, each one of these things are marks. What's the one that goes at the bottom? Scale. Marks. Scale. 30 millimeters or 30 degrees equals 8 millimeters. Marks, people. And the 0 to 360 degrees also marks. All right. So if I have 360 degrees here, I need it on this side. So I'm going to use my 30-60 degree triangle. Sorry. And we're just going to flip it. Duidelik en uiteindelik. Niemand is kwaad vir my nie. Almal is by en almal is bly. Alright. This is our start. That's the 0 degrees. Okay. If I turn clockwise with my follower, remember my follower is only going to move up and down here. It's the cam that's going to turn. So if that's 0 and that's my starting position, I'm going to turn anti-clockwise. And so what is going to pass the follower first? A or B? Alright, it's going to be here. So that becomes my 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90. Another way of remembering it is, if the direction of rotation is anti-clockwise, you number clockwise. It's always opposite to the direction of rotation. Okay, 150, 180. But I'd like you to actually just learn and figure it out than to be unsure. Oh, wait, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330. And we end back here with 360. Okay. Okay. Right, and now we have to draw the displacement diagram. So we start from 0 to 120, the cam follower falls to a minimum, so that's our starting point. 120, there's the lowest point, it falls, so I can draw that in. And then there's a rest from 120 to 270, like a long rest. And then from 270 to 360, it goes again to the maximum. Okay, so I've just drawn what is given here in the motion. And you see how this initially helped me to just have some insight into that. And so now I have to just copy the different points here. That's 0. Each one of those intersections, we are now going to copy across. Okay, and the way to do that, 0 and 0, that's the easy one. 30 degrees, bring it to the middle there, and using my compass, I'm going to copy that now across to 30 degrees. Okay, right there, bring it across, make a clear dot. This dot there resembles this one. That one resembles that one. So I'm going to take my time. There's the 60. Bring it across. Using my compass again, copy that over to the 60. Make a dot. 90 the same. Does this make sense to you? Should do one at a time. The biggest mistake you can do is to just go ahead and draw all of these across. I promise you. So 120 is on there. You see there it follows. Go, and it's 150 is there. 180, 210, 240, up to 270. All of them are right there on the minimum. And then from here, again, it goes to the maximum. So now we go 300. There it is. Like a clear dot. So also 330. Okay, and if I look at that, okay, now I'm going to use my French curve. Okay, those of you who've heard this before, I pay tribute to the fact that this is my grandfather's. Alright, so that one goes up there. Make sure you go at least through 3 dots if possible. Just helps with the smoothness of this curve. Find a place there. And of course, the other tip is if your dots are a little bit bigger, it does help because it makes it a bit more accurate. Try and have these as smooth as possible. You can rotate your curve until you find a position. And then the last part is there at the bottom. Just make sure that's neatly done. Not setting a good example here. Okay, just ignore that. Alright, so if I look at that, we've got our follower. I'll color that in for you. And remember, this is going to move up and down. This is the one that's stationary. And as my cam rotates, that follower will follow all the way down to the minimum and then stay and then return again to its maximum. Okay, and this here, very clear. Make sure this is framed. I just do them in green so that it's clear for you to see there. But we want that displacement diagram to have lines all the way around. And then, of course, very clearly your actual path that graph takes, the displacement graph. Make sure it's labeled. Make sure you had direction of rotation and numbered 0 to 360. More than that, I can't teach you. This is how to draw a cam with a cam follower and a displacement diagram, including the displacement graph label and the scale shown to you. Now it's over to you. Thank you for watching.